In this lecture, we will talk about reading data in CSV or text files with the Pandas library. The most common operation of a person approaching data analysis is to use the data contained in a CSV, comma separate the file values, format all text files separated by space or tabs, and generate with the txt extension files. Pandas provides a set of functions like a read a CSV. So usually read a CSV file, read a table. Read a table can also read a CSV file and read text files. And these are specific for these types of files. So let's start by creating a small CSV file in the working directory. So we see the file section 1201 CSV. And the file includes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows of the data. And the first row of the file is the column variable. Since this file is comma delimited, you can use the read CSV function to read its content and convert it to a data frame object in Pandas. So we can write pd.readCSV, then the full name of this file, in parentheses with quotes. Then the result of this object will be a data frame. You can see these 5 variables will be automatically created, and the index for the row will be automatically created from 0 to 4, and this is the data value part of the data frame with 5 columns, 5 rows. And since the CSV files are considered as text file also, you can also use the read table function, but by specifying the delimit. So we can also write pd.readTable here, and the same file, but we have to put sep equals comma in the quotes here. So the output will also be a data frame, same as before. 5 column row, column name for the column variable, and 5 index for the row. And in previous CSV file, headers are identified. All the columns are in the first row, but this is not a general case. It often happens that the tabulated data begin directly in the first line. So in example of this file section 1202 CSV have no column variable in data file, and the first row is also a data value. So in this case, you could assign the default names to the column by setting the header option to none. So we have to write pd.readCSV, the file name in the quotes, then an argument called header equals none here. So Pandas will not treat the first row of the data file as column variable. Then we assign automatically a default column variable here from 0 to 4, 5 column variable names to this data frame, and index, same as before, will be automatically assigned a default from 0 to 4. Then the data file's value will be assigned as the value of this data frame with a 5 column and 5 row. And in addition, you can specify the names directly by assigning a list of labels to the names option. So we can also assign name by using pd.readCSV, the file here, and we can use an argument called names. So these names means the column names. We write an array with 5 column names in quotes. Then the result look like this. The 5 column names will be assigned with 5 by 5 data frame, and with the index from 0 to 4. And in a more complex case in which you want to create a data frame with a hierarchical structures by reading a CSV file, you can extend the functionality of the read CSV function by adding the index column option, assigning all the columns to be converted into index. To better understand this possibility, create a new CSV file with 2 columns to be used as index of the hierarchy. So in CSV file 1203, we see these 2 columns called color status and the value and are like color, black, white, red, status up or down, left. And the next 3 columns are the values, item 1, item 2, item 3. This. So we can write pd.read_csv, the file, then an argument called index column. So index column means to create an index. And here we assign two string names, color status in the brackets for this index column. So there will be a hierarchical index. So this is index 1, this is index 2 for the resulting data frame, and because we did not add column names here, so Pandas reader CSV will automatically take the first row, but without the color and the status. So first row's next 3 variable names, item 1, item 2, item 3, to the result column name. So this is exactly what we want. 3 column for the values, data values, but first 2 columns for the index, hierarchical index, index 1 and index 2. And we can also read TXT files or CSV files into parts. So when larger files are processed, or when you are only interested in portions of these files, you can often need to read the file into portions. So you can explicitly specify the number of lines on which to pass with the n rows and a skip rows option, where you can select the starting line n here and the lines to be read after it, n rows here. So for example, we want to read from the 3rd row and read 3 rows from the 3rd row in the data file. So we can write pd.read_csv, then this file name, assign skip rows in brackets 2 means the 3rd row. So we start from the 3rd row, read, then n rows is 3 from this row and read 3 rows. Head is none. So in the resulting file, result data frame will be like this. Automatically assign the default column name and default index, but the values from the 3rd row in the original CSV file, red. So the result will be a 3-row data frame with 5 variables, or 5 column variables. We will show all this in Anaconda Spider now. We see the file called section 12 reading writing pandas.py, and the links to this file will be put in the description of this video. And we see the lecture 1, reading data in CSV or text files with Pandas. So first we import NumPy and the Pandas library. Then we have to use a library called OS to set in working directory. So import OS, then we change the working directory to on my PC D. Just note in Windows, you have to safely to add double / for Windows. Then it will work 100% okay for reading files. And we set this working directory. Then we put these working files in this working directory, the Python beginning course working directory. So next we can read this one, section 1201 CSV, and result is a data frame with 5 variables and 5 rows. We can also use a reader table to read this file. The result is the same. And for the section 1202 CSV, there's no column variable in file, so we have to add header none here. So Pandas will add a default column name for the data frame. And we can also manually add names for the column for this file. So like this, the names added manually for the column. And for this file, section 1203, we have to add 2 column names for index here. So you can see the result, the data frame with 3 column names in original file, and in original file the first 2 name now be changed to the index, hierarchical index in the resulting data frame. That's the first index is color, second index is status. And we can also read parts of the text file. So from the 3rd row, then read 3 rows. So for this CSV file, we read 3 rows of the data and automatically add the default variable names for the column, and the default items also created for the index